the Study Abroad Advisors in the International Center. We have today our Study Abroad Spotlight Series event that is focused on study abroad on your resume. So we have the Career Development Center here to lead our session and tell us a little bit more about how your study abroad experience can help you as you prepare your resume for grad school or a job or any other internship that you have in the future, whether you've already returned from a study abroad experience or whether you're thinking about going on a study abroad experience. So I want to introduce Maya Sykes from our Career Development Center. She is the International Center's main contact, though we work greatly with everybody in that office. They're all amazing. Maya is our liaison for study abroad. And then she also has, I'll let her introduce herself as well, Caitlin, a student who works in the Career Development Center who has also studied abroad. So hopefully she can share some of her insights as well. But I'll go ahead and I'll hand this over to Maya. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to learn more.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christy. I'm excited to be here. So I'll go into more formal introductions in a second, but thank you all for spending your afternoon. I know it's a busy time of the semester and a busy time of the week and day, so I appreciate you spending your afternoon with us. So like Christy said, this is a session on how to really market your study abroad experience, whether you've had an experience already or are planning on doing an experience in the future, how you can really market this experience to prospective employers, grad schools, internship providers, and the like. So hopefully you get some really great information and tools from today's session. So on to more formal introductions. Okay, so like I said, my name is Maya Sykes. So I'm the Senior Coordinator for Experiential Learning Programs within the Career Development Center. And I oversee our Torero Trek program and our Summer Internship Award program. I will let Caitlin introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm a senior. I'm a double major in accounting and marketing, and I'm also a marketing intern at the Career Development Center, and I went abroad last fall to Madrid.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. Christy, do you want to do a more formal introduction?
I just wanted to say hi again to everybody. As I mentioned, I am one of the study abroad advisors in the International Center. We are regionally divided, so I won't go into my whole list of regions that will be here forever, but I do cover a certain portion of the world in regards to the different study abroad experiences that we offer. I didn't mean to note at the beginning of this presentation that we are recording, so we can hopefully share this information after the presentation with you if you're taking notes or anything like that, but just wanted to make that note so everyone's aware. I'll hand it over to Brittany.
Hi, everyone. I see some familiar faces who also studied in Madrid. I'm also a study abroad coordinator. One of my highlighted programs is the USD Madrid Center, which Caitlin probably will mention a little bit more later. Welcome and thank you for being here. I know Zoom fatigue is real, but this is such a great opportunity to really unpack your international experiences, whether you've had them or not, so you can market yourself in the job market. So looking forward to hearing more from Maya and Caitlin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chelsea Weaver, and I am the third study abroad advisor / coordinator in the International Center. So happy you're here.
Awesome. Thank you all. And we do have a slide at the very end, which highlights the different regions that Christy was talking about for each of the study abroad advisors. So if you have a particular region that you're interested in learning more about, you'll be able to see kind of who's in charge of what when we get to the end. So I will be answering questions at the end, but I'm happy if you have a question, feel free to use the chat function. I do have that up, so if something pops up and you have an immediate question, I'm happy to answer, but otherwise we'll all be around to answer questions at the very end as well. All right, so today we're going to be talking about a few things. A lot of it I've already mentioned, but we're going to be really going into why studying abroad is valuable from a careers perspective. So obviously it's a really amazing experience. It's a life-changing experience for so many, but it also is really valuable in the careers world. So talking about maybe the skills that employers are looking for and how you can convert your experience and really pinpoint some of those skills that employers are looking for from your experience, and be able to market that and talk about that is something that is really valuable. Also, we're going to be able to today provide tools on how to translate your experience to different career documents. So whether that's your resume, an interview, a cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, being able to translate and communicate your experience to employers is also really important. So those are kind of the things that we're going to be talking about today. So I know that there are a handful of you in here. So just, I actually will use the raised hands function. So I think most, I don't know if all the classes are having you do the raised hand functions. I think so, because the students I've been talking to seem really familiar. So I just want to kind of take a pulse of what people's experiences have been. So if you have studied abroad in the past already, could you please raise your hand? All right, I see Kathy. Okay. All right, so lower your hand. And then if you have not studied abroad but are interested in studying abroad, could you raise your hand? All right. All right, perfect. So it seems like kind of a split, which is fantastic. So I'll be able to talk to both experiences. And then Kathy, do you mind in the chat just saying where you studied abroad? Madrid Center in Rome. Awesome. Okay, perfect. So yeah, so we're going to be talking about things that are relevant for both groups, because it's important information whether you've already studied abroad or thinking about studying abroad in the future. So let's move forward. So like I keep on emphasizing, studying abroad is absolutely valuable when it comes to marketing yourself to employers, internship providers, grad schools, and the like. So you're able to, while abroad, develop skills that employers absolutely love. And we're going to talk about what some of those skills are in a moment. You're going to have tons of learning moments, right? Because you're being pushed outside your comfort zone. You're in a new environment. There's going to be a lot of new experiences that you'll be able to tap into. Number one, you're learning a ton. But number two, you're going to be able to talk about those experiences in a cover letter and an interview. And it really will set you apart from folks who haven't had those experiences. And one thing that's really cool is you are actually able to intern and work while you're abroad. And so I think Caitlin had that experience, so she'll talk about that. But that's another fantastic way to gain experiences. Obviously, that's much more career in line. But whether or not you intern or work abroad, you still are gaining really valuable skills that will help you in the future. Okay, so when we talk about skills, here are, so just to kind of give some background on where these lists come from. There's different career competencies, and NACE, which is the National Association for Colleges and Employers, surveyed thousands of employers and pinpointed these skills that employers pretty much across the board are looking for in prospective employees. So that's critical thinking and problem solving, oral and written communication, teamwork and collaboration, digital technology and leadership, professionalism and work ethic, career management, and global and intercultural fluency. So just kind of think about those skills and maybe type into the chat which skills you think you can gain from studying abroad. And I'll just let you kind of type in, look at those, think about, you know, what you think a study abroad experience would be like, or what your experience has been, and what skills you think you can develop while abroad from that list. Don't be shy, it's not a trick.
And if you haven't been abroad before, maybe consider what your friends have said, what you hear, or what you think is desirable, having travel experience, what that means. So if you haven't been abroad, that's okay. You can still, think or predict what could be some skills that employers really.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and think about, what are some of the skills that you're hoping to get out of it. So, yeah, so critical thinking, global and intercultural fluency. Yep, see that a couple times. Perfect. So, honestly, you'll be able to develop all of these skills in an abroad experience, right? So, critical thinking, problem solving, oral and written communication, right? You're going to be potentially with people who are speaking another language, for sure from another culture. You're going to have to learn to really communicate well, both orally and written. And so those are fantastic skills to develop. Teamwork, collaboration. So you're going to be working in cross-cultural groups. All of these skills are things that you can develop. It's all about being able to identify those experiences and being able to pinpoint, oh, I am really working on my critical thinking while I'm doing this, having this experience. So hopefully this session will help you kind of reflect on how these experiences could potentially help you develop these. But all of these are things that you can develop while abroad for sure. Okay, so the key really is being able to translate it to employers. So like I said, there's multiple places where you can talk about your experience abroad. So one of the most simple ways to do it that I think pretty much across the board, students are really excited about putting on their resume is their study abroad experience. So across the board, people want to put that because they know it's an experience that is special. And other places that you can put it is in your cover letter, while you're interviewing, on your LinkedIn. There's a lot of different things, different areas where you can translate your experience on to a career perspective. So things that you want to remember though is recruiters may lack knowledge of what study abroad is, right? So they may have never studied abroad. They may have misconceptions. They may think, oh, okay, maybe their closest experience is a vacation. So it's really important that you help educate the recruiter on what your experience entails. So don't assume that they understand that you were going to classes, that you were having these really impactful experiences. Make sure that you're communicating that really clearly. And so that will take some practice, but also just know that it's really valuable. And if you explain it well, employers will be really impressed. You'll want to remember to connect your experience with the workplace skills. So kind of like what I was just mentioning. So that list of skills that we talked about, all of those skills you can develop. So you'll want to make sure that you're figuring out ways to develop, you're going to figure out ways to communicate those skills by talking about your experience. And then you're going to want to practice storytelling. So studying abroad, for those of you who have studied abroad, and I'm sure for those of you who are interested, you're going to have thousands of experiences, right? So you'll want to make sure that you are practicing how you communicate it. And so that could be like, you're going to talk to your roommate about how to explain your experience in a couple minutes or in 30 seconds. So just be prepared to do that, especially if you are interested in talking about it in an interview or something like that. Speaking of interviews, so what's really important is that employers want to know how your international experience shaped and prepared you for the world of work, and really in what ways your international experiences add value to their organization, right? So if you're thinking big picture, that's what they want to know if you're talking about it. So here are common interview questions that you can easily weave in your study abroad experience. So tell me about a time that you had a plan for a major project. So maybe that's, you had to plan on traveling abroad. That's a huge project in and of itself. So how did you go about that? What did you do? They want to know your process on how you plan for a major project. Well, going abroad is a huge project. So how did you prepare for that? Tell me about a time that you showed initiative. So there's going to be lots of times, again, where you're outside of your comfort zone. So that's showing initiative, right? Being able to explain how you felt outside of your comfort zone and you took a leap, and this is how you manage that. That's really important and valuable to employers. And then tell me about a time that you manage pressure. So I'm sure if, for those of you who've studied abroad or any, I mean, even just coming to college, that's a huge new experience too. So there's a lot of stressful situations, there's a lot of pressure that happens. So this is a great opportunity, studying abroad, to talk about how you were able to manage that pressure and learn from it and really gain value from the experience regardless. Okay, so now let me show you how we can translate your experience onto your resume. So this is an example of a resume. In most resumes, especially for college students, your education section should be front and center, right on top. And your international experience, your international study abroad experience, is in that section. So this is something that employers are going to see right off the bat, and they're going to be, you know, interested in, probably ask you about it. So you can see here where the student had 2 different study abroad experiences, and this is how they decided to list it. Okay, so it can be something as simple as this, or I have another example here, or like this. So this student wanted to dive in deeper on what their experience entailed. So they talked about different projects they did while they were abroad. So this is another really fantastic way to highlight those experiences and talk about the skills that you gained while abroad. Okay. Okay. And then I just saw, so is the presentation looking better now? I saw a note. No? Oh no. Okay. Wait.
It just looks like it's overlaying with another
oh, it looks good
with
on
another
my
slide. Maybe you want to stop sharing your screen for a minute and come back in.
Yeah, I can do that. One sec. Stop sharing. Hi, everyone. Okay, and then we'll share again. Let's see. Does that work better?
Yes, that looks good.
Okay. Do you want me to go back? Can you see, were you able to see the, do you want me to go back to the resume examples?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah,
I think that's where it
absolutely.
first got a little wonky. Thank
Okay.
you.
Can everyone see this first resume example?
It
No?
It went back.
Oh no. Okay. Here.
Maybe go ahead and, oh wait, it's coming in.
Okay.
It looks like it's just maybe coming in slow.
Oh, weird.
This one might be okay. It's still a little funky, but I think that people will be able to see it enough.
I probably just messed that up.
It looks okay.
Does it? People can.
Can you run your cursor over the education portion? It looked like it went away when you ran your cursor over it.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, keep doing that. It looks like it's going away.
I've never experienced this with Zoom.
Interesting.
Can you see it now? Or maybe I can try to do it another, like not in presentation mode.
Yeah, maybe it's presentation mode.
Okay, let me see.
It's
There's
better now.
It went
It is?
away.
All right, awesome. Okay, so just briefly, because I know you already heard my spiel, but if you look down on the education section, so like I said, this is what's going to be front and center for employers on a resume. And so this is how this student chose to highlight their 2 study abroad experiences. So you can see both of them are listed there, and it's very simple. It's just talking about the university, what term they went, and the location. All right, and hopefully, fingers crossed. Does it look okay? No? Oh man, okay. I'm gonna try the cursor trick. Is that working? No? Oh no. Because that's kind of important to look at.
It is. It's better now.
Oh, it is better. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so it's for this student, they talked more in depth about what they did while they were abroad. So you can do it either way. So you can put it, especially if space is an issue on your resume. So maybe you have a lot of experiences. Maybe you do want to just have it be one line and then use your interview, your cover letter as ways to talk about it more. Or this student chose to really put in a couple lines about what they did while they were abroad and the skills that they gained while they were abroad. Okay. All right. Hopefully this works. Such a bummer. No, bad, good.
I think it just takes time to load, so it's
Okay.
coming.
All right, so maybe we'll just like sit and, take.
It's okay.
Everyone can take this. Oh, you can
It's
see it
there.
now?
It's there,
Okay,
yeah.
fantastic. Okay, so this is a really great example of how you can translate your study abroad experience or your international experience into a cover letter. So you can see the full cover letter on the left-hand side. And then these were the sections where the person wrote about how their abroad experience is really connected to the skills they developed or other things related to the job that they're applying to. So immersed in Spanish culture, I learned how to effectively communicate with students and coworkers of all different ages, backgrounds, cultures, and languages. Okay, so that highlights, right, it's communication skills, global fluency, intercultural fluency. So those are just that one line already highlighted a lot of the skills that employers are really interested in. Having the opportunity to teach and travel throughout Europe and Africa has taught me valuable communication skills, awareness for cultural differences, adapting to foreign environments, quick problem solving, and the ability to schedule and manage travel plans. Those are all fantastic skills that obviously employers are looking for, but you're able to take from an international experience like this and really highlight it in your cover letter to highlight to the employers who you're hoping to work for. And then here's another section where they really tie in together the development and growth that they had while they were studying abroad and how it relates to the experience that they're applying for. Okay, so those are just highlighted ways. I'm glad that you're able to see it now. I'm sorry you weren't able to see it before, but those are really great ways to highlight your experience in some of those foundational career documents like your resume and your cover letter. And like I said, you're able to similarly do that in LinkedIn. So I'm going to pass it off to Caitlin. So she's going to talk about her experience and how it's been valuable for her since she has returned. See if we can switch it.
Thanks, Maya. Yes, so like I said, my name is Caitlin. I'm a double major in accounting and marketing, and I went to study abroad in Madrid, Spain last fall. So right before COVID, I was very happy about that. And my study abroad experience has really helped me be able to talk about my experiences and relate them to career development. I actually just recently signed with an accounting firm, and I'll be working as an audit assistant in the fall of 2021, which is super exciting. And I'll get into how I got that and how my abroad experience has helped me get there. So I chose Madrid, Spain. I know Kathy did too. And I know Brittany loves Madrid as well. And I know USD has a really great study abroad programs, and I knew I wanted to study abroad, but I didn't know where, and I wasn't really sure. And the Madrid Center makes it super easy to study abroad and gives you an experience of the comfort and safety of being around USD students, but still being able to go abroad and get that entire experience, which is exactly what I needed and wanted. I was able to stay in a homestay, and I did not know any Spanish. I took French in high school. I took Spanish in second grade, and that was maybe it. So, but I survived my 5 months in Madrid, and it was really a great way to practice my Spanish skills, and I highly recommend going to stay in a homestay when you go abroad. One of my favorite parts about the Madrid Center and their program is their 2-week seminar in the first 2 weeks of going abroad. They take you all around Spain. Since I am an accounting and marketing major, I was in the business seminar. And so it was really highly focused on the differences between Spanish business culture versus the like American US business culture. And we really got to see what the differences were like. We got to go to different companies, like we got to taste different olive oil, we got to go to a winery, a chocolate factory, we got to learn about how they ran their businesses abroad versus what it was like in America. And I feel like that was a really huge takeaway and one of my favorite classes, because that's something you don't get to learn in a classroom. We actually got to go and visit all these places in Spain. And that's just one of the best parts about going to Madrid. So if you want to go somewhere, I highly recommend it. But I was lucky enough to have an internship abroad. I don't know if you guys know, but they have an internship class at USD as well, and you get 3 credits if you have an internship. So it's exactly the same, but in Madrid. And the way I got it, it was actually really easy. USD has a lot of connections. And so the professor who's like in charge of this class, his name's John, and he just has a bunch of connections and was like, here are all these people you can interview with. And so I had 2 different interviews. And I just gave them my resume and a cover letter about kind of what I wanted to do with their company. I knew I wanted to do some sort of marketing because I do marketing at the Career Development Center. I really enjoyed it. And I landed an internship with Tetuan Valley, which if you see on my slide here, it was at the Google for Startups campus in Madrid. And that campus is just beautiful in itself. If you ever picture like an open office with all these puppies running around and young entrepreneurs talking about all their great startups, that is what the Google campus is like. So it was really awesome to just work there in general, and then also be able to work with a group of people who have a startup, especially in a different country. Like I said, I did not know a lot of Spanish, but I was lucky enough that they spoke English. And my marketing internship consisted of me doing the same things I would be doing at the Career Development Center, working on social media, making videos. One of my biggest projects, which was awesome, I got to work and make their annual report, which is a really big thing for a company, and I thought it was really cool. I came in August, and I worked on it all the way through December, building their annual report for them. But while I got to learn a lot of marketing skills, I think the most important thing I learned during my internship was what business Spanish culture is like. It's something that you don't get to read in a textbook or learn in a classroom. When you work with people, they really show you like how they like work. Because I've worked in America, it's always go, 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 get your work done, go home, hang out with your friends, don't talk to any of your coworkers afterwards. But in Spain, it's show up, go grab some coffee with some people, do some work, go have lunch for 2 hours, and then do some more work, leave early because happy hour is starting. And I asked them one day, I was like, why? We're not getting work done. Like, the deadlines are passing. And they're like, it's more important to build relationships and connections. And that is why you want to work with these people, and building these connections will help you in the future. If you leave that job, then you'll have a great network. And that's my biggest takeaway from my internship, and something really cool to learn when you have an internship abroad, and something that if I ever want to work abroad in the future, I'll know what it's like with that Spanish culture. So I have an interesting experience because I'm an accounting major. I actually interviewed for the job that I'm going to have in the fall before I went abroad. So my sophomore year, spring, I interviewed. But I did mention during all my interviews that I would be going abroad. And every time I mentioned it, the interviewers were very excited to hear that I was stepping outside my comfort zone and trying something new. I know it's very normal for USD students to go abroad, but when they compare me to UCSD students or SDSU students, it is something that makes me stand out. And I am certain that because I said I was going abroad, because I told them I was going to have an internship, I told them I was taking classes, and that's how I marketed myself. They were very impressed, even though I hadn't gone there yet. And I know that definitely helps me in getting job offers and landing my job for the future. And so overall, I know if you've gone abroad or if you haven't yet, think the most important takeaway is that it's something that you don't learn in a classroom, and it's something that is a life experience that you get to take away. Like Maya was saying, it's like communication skills. It's critical thinking when you're in in an Airbnb and it starts flooding, which happened to me before. It's finding new places to like go and stay and having to do it all by yourself. And I think being able to communicate with people with a language barrier, not knowing the language, but still immersing yourself into that culture. And it's something that employers will really think highly of you if you step outside of your comfort zone and experience the world. So I highly recommend going abroad if you haven't. And if you have, market yourself in a way that all employers can see that these life skills that you have learned will be beneficial to their companies. So thank you. If you have any questions, you can email me at ksolis@sandiego.edu, or I'll be here for a Q&A. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Caitlin. That was amazing. Yeah, and we can share contact. I know that you have a LinkedIn too, so they could connect with you on LinkedIn. All right. So that really wraps up. Hopefully, can you see this? Yeah, no. Yeah? Okay, good. So that really wraps up. I wanted to go over briefly about what the Career Center does in general. So we can help you with, of course, if you've already gone abroad, we can help you start practicing how you're going to communicate that and the other ways that we talked about. And if you haven't gone abroad yet, we can talk to you about tips on when you get back, how we can really highlight that experience for you. But other things that we can help you with is just general career counseling. So whether you have a really clear idea of what you want to do or you have no idea, we're here for you. We have really super nice and really talented career counselors who would love to help you. Obviously, everything's via Zoom, so you can set up an appointment, and it's really easy to set that up. We also have our Trek program. So for those of you, I run our Trek program. So we still are doing virtual treks. So kind of keep an eye out for those. The Summer Internship Award, there's mentorship programs. We have the career fair that's actually happening today. So there's a career fair today, and then we have a couple other ones coming up this fall. So keep an eye out for that. And you can find out information about all of these on our website, which is sandiego.com, sandiego.edu, as everyone knows, /careers. And then this is for the International Center. So I don't know if one of you wants to chime in about this.
Sure. I also just want to emphasize, I am a USD alum. I did my bachelor's at USD, and I kicked myself once I started working at USD that I had never utilized career development services to the fullest extent when I was a student. They're really amazing even after you graduate. Like, I went back when I was applying to graduate schools and they were helping me because I was an alum. So the ties there are so strong. I was like, why did I wait until I literally graduated to do any of this? Because it would have saved me so much time just trying to figure things out by myself. So could not recommend their services enough. And then, yes, so this is for the International Center. I would say if you do anything after this to connect with us, if you have an Instagram account, the USD Study Abroad Instagram has the link to our link tree, which has the link to our website event signups. Other social media pages like our YouTube and our TikTok. Caitlin's laughing. We got it all. So our marketing interns also put in a ton of work as well. So if you do anything, follow us on Instagram, because if there's anything you need, our link tree's there. So you can contact us that way. It's also a place where we're going to make a lot of announcements, like upcoming application deadlines for those of you who haven't gone abroad yet. Anything else that you may be looking forward to with our study abroad office, all that information's there. So definitely our link tree, if anything else, or Instagram. And then these are also the advisors again. This is our division of labor. So these are all the countries we work with. Typically, if you want an advising a session, we break up by that, but you can just email us at our general email, that international studies one, and whoever it makes sense for you to meet with, we'll reach out to you. So, yeah.
And sorry, Brittany, I'm not sure if I missed this when you were speaking, but I just dropped that Google form back in the chat. So if you're in the waiting room, you already got that same form, but I just dropped it again. And if you fill that out, we will automatically send you an email that has all this information. So sorry if I'm repeating just what Brittany said, but if you fill that out, you will automatically get an email with the link tree and other important information from us.
Yes, thanks, Christy. I totally forgot to mention that. So thanks for jumping in.
And I know that Maya has a form as well. So Maya, when you have the opportunity, you're welcome to drop that link in the chat for everybody too.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'm going to switch to the next one. And honestly, I won't stay on this slide I mean, we don't need to stay on this slide. Yeah, happy to answer questions. I am going to put a survey link. So that's really important for us, just if you have any feedback, but also if you want a career readiness point. So that's Passport, Compass, Connect points. That's the way to do it. So I'm going to share another survey for you to fill out and in just one moment in the chat, but happy to answer any questions, and feel free to just unmute yourselves and I will be happy to answer. All right.
And thank you so much to both of you. Sorry, Brittany, if I'm just sharing your sentiments right now, but Maya and Caitlin, we just so appreciate having your perspective today. Thank you this is a very unique opportunity, and we love this collaboration with your office. So thank you so much for sharing your insights.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. This is really an important topic, and so we're excited to be able to share this with students.
For our attendees, I'm so curious, is there anything on your resume, cover letter, anything that Maya or Caitlin covered that you're still wondering how to translate it in an interview setting, or how you can kind of turn a question around to your study abroad experience, maybe an interview? I'm curious, is there anything we're still struggling with, or wondering if there's a different way to say it with anyone who attended today? Kathy, you had 2 experiences, so I'm curious, how are you going to talk about both? Because they both were a full semester. And we have a lot of students actually who do multiple study abroad experiences. So maybe that's something we didn't touch on, is how do you market all of those experiences? Because you do have a lot of them. Not to put you on the spot.
That's a good question. I don't know, I guess I don't have any particular questions. I sort of came today just to get an overview and try to think about how I would phrase it. But yeah, I had 2 very different internship experiences when I went to Spain and Italy. So I've been, like, how much is too much when you're talking about your study abroad experience? I guess it's one of my questions, because, you know, a lot of times, like, it's stereotypical that people go abroad and it changed your life and you keep talking about it. And it's true, because it did change my life. But for me, since I've been abroad twice, like, I guess I come to the point of, like, what should I highlight? What is, like, too much? Like, am I talking about this too much? Is there ever too much? I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So what I would recommend, and think of it from like a non-study abroad perspective. So say you've had 3 internships or job experiences and you're in an interview, but you only are talking about one job experience. Isn't necessarily a negative. It's just how you communicate it. And so maybe what I would recommend is picking out a couple of key experiences that you had, maybe in each of your study abroad experiences, and think about, okay, if I get a question on working with a group that had different backgrounds and how I navigated that, maybe you choose your experience from Italy and you talk about that. So I don't think there's ever too much. It's just how you communicate it. And I think it's actually, it's a great question, because sometimes it can, from an employer perspective, they may think, okay, wait, she has a ton of stuff on her resume. Why is she only answering all of the questions about this one? So it's a really good question and to be cognizant of. So I would just recommend thinking about the key experiences you had from each, and then making sure that, say you talk about Italy in one question and you're like, okay, I could talk about Italy again in this next question, but let's mix it up. And I'm going to either mix it up from something from when I was at USD, maybe in a student org, or I'm going to talk about my experience in Madrid, or I'm going to talk about an internship experience. I think that totally makes sense. And it also shows your broad range of experiences and your ability to talk about all of those efficiently and accurately.
Okay, thank you. That was really helpful.
I just want to emphasize what Maya said. Having all the study abroad advisors, we all have a lot of different kinds of international experiences, whether Christy went backpacking for 6 months, Chelsea did an around the world trip, so she's been pretty much everywhere. I studied, did graduate school, and now work abroad sometimes. So we all kind of have these different capacities. And what Maya, I think, is referring to is finding those nuggets of where you had a challenge or you were able to showcase your skills. Like transferable skills is something that Caitlin and Maya talked about a lot in this presentation. So something I brought up in my interview for this position was, while studying abroad, I worked for, a travel company, and our bus was climbing a cliff in Morocco, and the road got too narrow, and so we were hanging off the side of a cliff, and my job was to keep everyone calm. So, that could be a situation where maybe that wasn't like the most positive experience I had, and that's not where my brain goes when I say, oh my God, it changed my life. It was so fun. It was amazing. Everyone should do it. But focusing on some things where this was not perfect, how did you react to it? And that will showcase, that story in and of itself will showcase the skills that employers like anyway. So my reaction to that was, yes, it was stressful. I remained calm. The bus was able to get us down safely. And at the next rest stop, I encouraged our company manager to buy everyone like a trinket at the shop we were at, so that even though it was a scary experience, they felt like something positive came out of it. And then I followed up to check in with all of our guests to see that they were okay. That is customer service skills, problem solving skills, quick thinking skills, and that's just a story. And if I told it quickly, less than a minute answer. So Maya is talking about, what are some specific experiences? And if you just have some stories like that in your back pocket for any interview, regardless if it was international or not, employers are going to ask you, what was a time you had a challenging situation and how'd you overcome it? I have like 5 options and I can just pick one. So thinking about some of those, and like maybe, everyone thinks of study abroad as positive, but maybe thinking like, what were some times where I was uncomfortable? What were some times that were not perfect? What were situations that I wouldn't necessarily write home about if you asked me the top 5 things I did for study abroad? And within that are going to come some of those transferable skills just by telling that story and how you reacted afterwards. So I think Maya's point is absolutely spot on.
Yeah, I think that, just to chime off that, I think it's really easy, and this is for not just students who have studied abroad, but for any experience, especially in an interview. Students or any employer or anyone who's interviewing will talk very broadly about an experience, so very broadly about an internship, very broadly about a study abroad experience. But just like Brittany's saying, really pinpointing nuggets. So you can say, I gained fantastic communication skills while I was abroad. Here's a very specific example of when those showed up for me, when I was able to further develop those. That's what employers are looking for. So yeah, just like Brittany said, I would make a list of different experiences and definitely pinpoint those and be able to easily talk about those in like a 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute interview question. Any other questions or comments? If you feel more comfortable typing them out too, that's fine with me. I'm fine. But if not, I'm happy. I'll put my email address. And you said, Caitlin, maybe you can put yours, drop yours in there. So if you have specific questions, but again, let me put the correct careers website, sandiego.edu. And that's a really great place to get connected with just a bunch of services in our office. So if you want to talk deeper and maybe on a more one-on-one basis with anyone in our office, about your experience or any of your kind of career goals, we're able to support you there, and that's a great way to kind of get connected with us. But I'm happy to stick around for questions.
Thank you all for coming. If you don't have anything else, I think we're wrapping up. Otherwise, I think all of us will hang out maybe for a few more minutes in case you have any one-on-one questions you want to ask. Thanks to Maya and Caitlin again, and everyone else for taking time to be here. It was a nice refresher for me, to be honest. So I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you all for being here.
Thank you. I have to go, but I really enjoyed this workshop, and especially